Hey Geekly, Kikai here, and today pull up a stool and maybe pour yourself something strong because we have got a big one to unpack. We are talking about the elephant in the room, or rather the giant space bounty hunter in the room. We are talking about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, broken promises and the harsh reality of game development. So here's the deal. Unless you've been living under a rock on planet Zebes, you know that Metroid Prime 4 finally dropped at the start of December on both the Switch and the fancy new Switch 2. We waited years for this. Literally years. And while a lot of the game is great, there's been this massive loud debate online about the open world section, specifically that desert area where you ride the Viola bike. A lot of critics and veteran fans, myself included, felt it was weird, empty, and just didn't feel like Metroid. Well, it turns out we were right to feel weird about it. In a new interview with Famitsu, Nintendo basically admitted that they weren't convinced by it either. They confessed that they included the open world because they were chasing the Breath of the Wild hype train from years ago, but by the time they finished the game here in late 2025, they realized players were sick of open worlds. But, and here's the kicker, they said they could not afford to backtrack again, so they just left it in. Now, let's take a breath and look at this from the corporate side. I want to be fair here. Game development is a nightmare. We all know the history. This game was announced, then it was scrapped, then it was restarted from scratch with Retro Studios. That costs millions upon millions of dollars. When they started that reboot, Breath of the Wild had just changed the industry. Every suit in every boardroom was shouting, "Make it open world, players love freedom." It was the smart bet at the time. And let's be real, you cannot pivot a massive AAA ship on a dime. If they had decided 2 years ago to cut the open world and the bike, we would probably be staring at another delay pushing this game into 2027. Nintendo is a business. They have shareholders, they have quarterly earnings, and they had a console launch to support. Sometimes you just have to ship the product. You have to respect the fact that they actually got the thing out the door after such a hellish development cycle. But it's when I started reading the specific quotes in that interview that I started to twitch, because this isn't just a case of we tried something and it didn't land. This is a confession of knowingly serving us stale bread. Here's where it gets to the total BS part. Nintendo is the company that supposedly lives by that old Shigeru Miyamoto quote, "A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is bad forever." Yet here they are admitting that they knew the market had shifted. They knew player fatigue for open worlds had set in. They looked at that desert bike section. They likely saw that it didn't match the tight claustrophobic atmosphere that makes Metroid special. And they said, too expensive to fix it. Ship it. That's the problem. They fell into the classic sunk cost fallacy. They spent so much time and money building a feature we didn't ask for that they felt forced to make us play it just to justify the receipt. They treated the game design like a checklist from 2019 instead of an artistic vision for 2025. Metroid has always been about isolation, labyrinthine maps, and backtracking through tight corridors. Turning it into a generic sandbox because Zelda did it was a misunderstanding of the franchise's identity from day one. And for them to turn around now and say, "Well, we realized you guys wouldn't like it, but we didn't want to delay it again," feels like a slap in the face to the fans who bought the premium collector's edition. We aren't paying $70 to play your project management mistakes. We're paying for a curated experience. If you know a feature is bad or outdated and you keep it in just to save face or save budget, you're compromising the art for the bottom line. That's not the Nintendo polish we used to brag about. Anyway, the article with the full translation is in the description. Go read it and judge for yourself. So Geekly, you're the judge today. Is Nintendo justified in keeping a flawed open world section to avoid another cancellation and delay? Or is knowingly releasing an outdated mechanic a betrayal of the quality we expect from them? Let me know what you think in the comments. And that is the harsh reality facing Samus Aran right now. If you appreciated this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments if you are canceling your pre-order or holding on to hope. If you want to be a legend and buy me a coffee, that link is right in the description. Quick question for the next stream. Should I transmit from the Dunship cockpit or the Chozo ruins? Vote now. I will see you on the next level. This was Kikai Wafa for News Geekly.